Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options in Play video update. So, Thanksgiving week, right? Got basically like a half week. Some of you may trade Friday. I feel like a lot of people probably take it off, spend time with their loved ones, their friends, their family, right? Some people are traveling. So for most, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So like a half week or so. And actually, quite a bit going on. We have a pretty busy lineup just over like that 3 day stretch. Some really big names, so I'm gonna get right into it. All right. Uh, After the excuse me, before the open Monday, nothing really of interest. Let me put it that way. After the close, though, Ambarella. So 6 points, give or take, is what's priced in here. You can see he had a beat and raise, and then just an epic run after last quarter's numbers. Um, Basically gave it all back like by a month later, right? And now it's kind of like chopping around and looking for some direction. Um, Semis, for the most part, have been pretty good this quarter. So I feel like I go with momentum in the sector, go with momentum from last quarter, and maybe lean bullish. Um, Overall, though, I'd say maybe not a huge fan of the setup just because it's kind of sloppy, doesn't look great, but could be worth like a speculative shot, especially if it has like a gap and go similar to last quarter. Newton Nicks, another big one Monday after the close. So 475, kind of what's priced in here. It's an interesting setup actually. So it's finally stemmed the slide back in August. Had a couple really ugly moves off of earnings. August finally put together a decent report, bounced, and you can see kind of it's just like pushing up into like this really critical area of resistance into the gap from that late May report, right? So in terms of technicals, I mean, like this is going to be pretty critical for the stock because it's had a little bit of momentum off the low, trying to rebound, but pushing up into like a really big area of resistance. Last quarter was solid, but the couple before that were pretty bad. So it's really going to be kind of a critical print here. Option pricing, in my opinion, not too bad, and I think this setup could be, maybe you see like five, six, or maybe over five is a better way to kind of describe that. I kind of like the idea of like a straddle or a strangle on this thing. Palo Alto, another big tech name on Monday after the close. So 16 and a quarter, about what's priced in here. Stock has just been on a crazy run. Like the last month, it's just been kind of like straight up. It's up a ton into earnings. I've traded this in the past, but like I feel like this move higher, it just puts expectations like too high for me, and I just don't know if there's a way to capitalize on it. Um, as much as like I have like trading this in the past, I just don't see a great setup this time. So I'll probably avoid it. Maybe see what the numbers look like, see what the stock looks like after, and then maybe we can hop in for like a quick swing trade or something along those lines. PVH, so retail name, 11 points is what's priced in, but those are monthly options. So Pierre, Ralph Lauren, had a pretty nice quarter, popped nicely a couple weeks ago, and that's actually the day that you saw PVH first time it hit that 200A. So it's in a pretty tight flag underneath the 200A, right at the 100 level. And I feel like it definitely should be a mover because they're going to be guiding the holiday quarter. But monthly options, you're paying like an extra couple weeks for time value. And I mean, at 11 points, I just don't know if they leave like a lot of room. It seemed like to be like a little bit on the high side on the pricing perspective. If I did do anything with this, it would probably be with some sort of spreads or flies, some way to get like the overall debit or risk down on it. Before the open Tuesday, so a few retail names. Abercrombie, 2.5, about what's priced in here. Had a really nice streak of big moves snapped in August. So August was one of the smallest moves in a while. But it hasn't really gone anywhere. Been kind of like a tighter consolidation for the last 5 or 6 months, right? So maybe it could revert back to like some of like those bigger moves. I don't know if I scroll back, you can see what I mean. So it had like a really great streak of just big moves. So big move after big move after big move after big move. Last quarter, smaller move. But again, retailer going to be guiding the holiday quarter. Hasn't really gone anywhere. It's got kind of like a key area below, key area of resistance above. So kind of like a volatility strategy on this. ADI, big chip report. 475 is what's expected. An interesting setup too because whereas a lot of the chips have been good this quarter, one of the notable exceptions was Texas Instrument, and that's actually kind of like a peer to ADI. So ADI still kind of range bound. It doesn't always have big moves on earnings, but at the same time, like overall volatility in the sector is higher, kind of at like a critical area, right? Dancing around the 200-day. Texas Instruments wasn't particularly good and got hit real hard, so it seems like there's signs that this could be due for like a bigger than normal move. Option prices not too bad. Um, so thinking, thinking, lean maybe more bullish, but at the same time, maybe like a strangle, maybe like a staggered strangle would be the way to approach this. Best Buy, 5.5. It's priced in for Best Buy. Honestly, like I haven't had much success with the stock over the last couple of years. It just, like it seems like once every 3 or 4 quarters, it has like a big move. It really always seems to have potential, but then it just ends up having like smaller than expected moves. So, I'm probably just going to avoid it this quarter. I'll see what they say, see what the holiday numbers, maybe like the holiday guide looks like. If it doesn't have a big move, then we can focus on it in February, March when they actually report the holiday quarter. Because actually last holiday quarter. So here, that was like end of February. Actually, that was like the last time I had a really, really big move. So, maybe if it doesn't do anything this time, then we can look for maybe like a volatility strategy, like on that like late February, March report when they report the holiday quarter. Burlington, another retailer. One of the biggest price to moves from a point perspective next week. 18.5 is expected here. So I actually played this for a sympathy trade on TJX and rosters this week, and it worked out pretty nicely. And actually, as a matter of fact, we did the kind of like the same trade last quarter, and that worked. But we didn't play Burlington into earnings, and then it gapped up like and ran almost like 40 points. So kind of kicking myself for not sticking with it into its actual report. The chart looks interesting. I mean, kind of like a bull flag above 200, just underneath the high from like that momentum push post earnings. TJX, raw stores both had good numbers. Action wasn't particularly great on either though. So, I feel like lean bullish because both TJX and raw stores had good numbers. But it would have to be like a lower debit strategy because I feel like this is probably more speculative, especially after the move it had last quarter. Dix, 375 is what's priced in here. And what's interesting about Dix is that it's actually right at long-term area of resistance, which you can see, right? So just consolidating right around that 40 level. It's been much less volatile in earnings recently, but with the chart right at that critical 40 level, it kind of makes it interesting. A pent-up breakout, and you can see there's like a real obvious gap above. Another failure at 40, and I mean, like the range dictates it could have room all the way down into like the low 30s. So might look at volatility strategy on that. Dollar Tree. So kind of simple with Dollar Tree. Dollar General won't report next week. So typically these two report either on like the same day or like the day after one another. But actually, Dollar General reports the following week. So sympathy trade. I mean, it lines up for a sympathy trade. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Dollar General options. These are very correlated stocks. Dollar stores. I mean, so Dollar Tree reports next week. Dollar General doesn't. And they're going with Dollar General options. All right, Tuesday after the close, big night. Autodesk, 13.5. That's what's priced in here. It's closed red on the day of earnings, 3 quarters in a row. Last quarter it was smashed hard. Stock has rebounded sharply, but with the history of weak reactions, I'm thinking some sort of bear strategy on this. Dell, 525. It's what's priced in. Those are monthly options, though. This has actually had some big reactions to earnings since coming back to the market. I know I do wish there were weekly options available because I feel like if they were priced in like 350 to 4, that'd be even better. But even with the paying for the extra time on the monthlies, it does seem like there's a little bit of room there. Maybe you could see like a 6 to 7 point swing like the last couple quarters. I don't have much history trading this, but I'm kind of on the fence, but still seems like a decent setup. HPQ, like $1.25, $1.30. It's priced in here. To be honest, not really interested in earnings that much. But what is interesting with HPQ is any update on the proposed takeover by Xerox, right? So it popped up to like 21.67 on when that headline was first announced. Is pulled back, but options priced it in at $1.30. It's trading under 20. You do the math, like the options aren't even like pricing in a retest of like the high from that move. So, I feel like it's more speculative, but may look at some upside call spreads, see if there's any development on a possible deal. BMW, another big software name, 11 and a quarter is what's priced in on this thing. Nearly all of BMW's biggest moves on earnings have been to the downside recently. Okay, kind of like Autodesk. And it's very tough, in my opinion, to lay out money on the bull side, especially in this type of environment for software stocks. I mean, they have been acting a little bit better, but still not really getting rewarded very dramatically on the upside. They did do 2 deals last quarter, though, which was a little unusual. So they're probably going to be guiding with those numbers, and that could lead to some volatility. So tough call for me, but either I'm leaning towards maybe avoiding or even like possibly playing to the bear side. Keysight, 10.5 is what's priced in here. Those are monthly options though. Kind of an under the radar 5G play. Been on a great run, up a ton year to date. Just came off its 52-week high though, so expectations a little bit higher going into this. But 5G plays this quarter have had some really solid numbers, so I feel like it could be bullish bias here. I guess playing it though, it would have to get either something closer to the money or maybe looking at some sort of strategy at the overall like risk debit down, so like spreads, flies, something along that nature. Then another software report, Viva, 14.5 points. Those are monthly options though. This thing seems like it always prices in a huge move, and then it rarely ever moves that much. I mean, it's like the auto zone of software stocks. They are monthly contracts, so you are paying for extra time, but I still like. I guess I just don't see it. I don't like the setup. I don't like the stock. So I'm probably going to leave it alone. All right, and Wednesday before the open, last but not least, Deer. Okay, 8 points. 8 points is what's priced in, and I have absolutely no idea what to expect here. They missed and guided lower last quarter, and the stock rallied. Right, Cat missed and guided lower this quarter, and the stock rallied. So, you know, I feel like expectations are low because everybody's probably expecting them to miss. But at the same time, the stock has had a big run, so I really don't have any clue what to make of this. None. It's a huge question mark, and kind of like complicating the issue is the fact that the options really aren't cheap either. So I just have absolutely no idea what to do with Deer, and that to me is just like a sign that I should probably just stay away from it. So maybe see how like the first couple days of the week go, but I really don't have a feel for this, and options don't really seem to leave a ton of room, so probably avoid it. All right, and then Wednesday after the close, everybody's heading out to see their family, to see their friends. So that, for all intents and purposes, that's like the scheduled news for the week. All right. I want to say in advance, have a absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving. Safe travels if you're going on the road, flying, wherever. Enjoy the time with your family and your friends, and rest up and recharge. And then December is going to kick off with a bang. We have like a ton of bios and even more earnings. So, busy week to start out, and then like a nice stretch to relax and recharge the batteries with your friends and your family. All right. So, if you like these videos, and if you're looking for more information on options trading or more trade ideas, please follow up in the description of the video for more more information on options in play. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you guys all next week.